Alright, I'll meet you in the baths.
But don't follow too closely. We can't have people thinking we're bathing together.
Hey, why not? Is this far enough? I think canonically, there's no gender.
You have to do something. A man arrived in the baths. A real nasty sort, with his face all covered up. And he's got a weapon.
Please, go and stop him, and come back to me once we're no longer in danger.
Help! You have to do something. A man arrived in the baths. A real nasty sort, with his face all covered up. And he's got a weapon. You have to do something, or he's gonna break the golden rule.
There's an armed man, okay? How? I don't have a weapon.
None of us do. The magistrate made us throw them all into the chasm. So now this man's bow is the only one in the city. You'll just have to improvise.
It is my problem, because I'll die if I let this guy break the rules. I'll see what I can do. You know what? If we just don't visit the bath ever again, wouldn't that be okay? He wouldn't be able to kill anybody. He'd just be stuck there, and then he wouldn't be our problem anymore. I'll see what I can do.
Thank you. He's still in there, somewhere. I have to hide. Find me in this empty shrine when it's over.
No. Do not go in there!
What? Why?
Just trust me.
All right, fine. Come and find me in my bakery instead. Please be careful.
Wait, who are you?
Fabia, but now's not the time.
Which golden statue helped me? Hey, Equidia is gone. So this bath... No, this is not the bath. This is the bath. I think. Intruder. Confront the armed man entering the city. Oh, no. This is the bath. Alright. They're creepy, but I think they're trying to help. So if they say no, I'll listen. Oh, Lord. Oh!
Stop right there. I'm looking for Tiberius Quinctius Crispus, otherwise known as Quinctius. Do you know where he is?
Oh no. We know there's something dangerous inside the shrine. Yes, I saw him worshipping in a small round shrine just inside the city. Second building on your left.
Thank you. For your service to the Empire, I'll let you live for now, but you'd best make sure our paths don't cross again.
He's got a bow. The only bow in the city. Decius was looking for a bow. Oh, no, let's see what happens with this guy first. Everyone's hiding, but for some reason I'm still following him. Oh, dude, you should go home. I'm kind of curious about this place too, because it seems like it might be dangerous.
Curse you, cultist.
Okay. We also got a bow. Is it okay to have a bow, though? If I take it, then I'll have a weapon. Is that alright? Well, I'm not gonna not take it. Bounty notice. By order of Emperor Nero, all loyal sons of Rome are ordered to hunt and execute the arsonist and murderer, Tiberius Quinticius Crispus, a citizen from the Aventine district of Rome. He is about 40 to 50 years old. He is average height, average build, has dark hair, and has one green eye and one blue eye. He is typically clean-shaven. He is a known associate of cultists and suffers from delusions of grandeur. Different colored eyes. Okay, so we know this guy's a cultist for sure. But we haven't met him yet. Okay. I got 1 coin. Wait, so this guy probably came here the same way then. He floated down a river and then... But he came here with a purpose. See, this would have happened to Fabia if we let her come here. Okay. Decius was looking for a bow, but I don't know if I want to give it to him because he seemed a little bit not the nicest. Ah, and then we also want to ask Fabia, who is threatening Virgil. Fabia was the bakery lady. Oh, the bakery! The place where we took the bread from. Okay. We didn't finish talking to Equidia yet, though. Let's see. Dooley's note. I did not do it, Dooley. Is that Dooley?
I take it you've cleared the way to the baths? Follow me, but don't follow too closely. We can't have people thinking we're bathing together.
Right, we want to go figure out Karen.
Hello?
I'll be back with you in a sec. Can I follow you? Oh, I can't do the following anymore. Gotta do it manually. So this is not how we got into the city. This is not the same place. But a bath is also how we got here. These have got to be the previous people who lived in the city. Wearing armor. But no armor is gonna protect you from this. Oh, it's actually really fancy here. Everyone's watching you bathe. Very beautiful pool. I almost want to go in it. Oh. Has someone mentioned something? Oh, there is even a statue here. Something about a shaft above the bathhouse? We might want to look into that later on. Wow.
All right, you're here. You were asking how I knew the young woman you met by the river was wearing a hood. Here, look down at the bottom of the baths. It's a little hard to make out in this light. If only we could see. Oh, what a marvelous lamp.
Oh, the flashlight.
Do you see it? Somebody waking up by a river in a forest to find a hooded figure with a coin. It's just as you described it, only your pronunciation is a little off. The name you heard wasn't Karen. It was C-H-A-R-O-N, as in Charon, the ferryman of the dead. Charon, who, in exchange for the right coin, helps the souls of the newly deceased cross the Styx, the river that separates the land of the living from the land of the dead.
When I dragged you out of the river, I thought you were never gonna wake up. I checked your pockets for ID, but all I found was some loose change. Feels like I've spent my whole life in a dead-end job with an endless commute.
Oh my god.
Sorry if I sounded cagey, it's just that I don't always get the best reactions when I introduce myself. My name's Karen.
I'm so sorry, my friend.
What?
I'm so sorry. I take it you know what this means.
That we're all dead? But you make it sound like you're not dead, but you got here the same way, didn't you? Or did you not? This place is the Underworld?
I'm afraid so. It's all starting to make sense. All these people whose last memory was running from the fires toward the river. It seems none of them escaped with their lives after all. Perhaps we should be grateful they don't remember their final moments. It also tells us that the Golden Rule is the work of Pluto, the god of the underworld, and why his epithet has always been Father of Riches. I know it's a lot to take in, and you look as if you have questions, so I'll try to answer them if I can.
I'm not so sure if this is really the doing of a god though, because earlier Virgil did put some doubt in my mind that, hey, maybe this is made by a human. But this lady's a priestess, so everything she's gonna say is gonna have that priestess taint on it. So we're dead?
That was my first thought too. In the old stories, the underworld was where the souls of the deceased were taken. But it was also possible for the living to reach it without dying, if they were particularly fearless. So I'm afraid I don't know.
What can you tell me about Charon?
Oh, I'm sorry. I keep forgetting you're not from here. If you were Roman, or even Greek, you would know these stories. Each of them is slightly different, whether the storyteller was Plato, Homer, Virgil, or Ovid. But they always involved the souls
Virgil.
of the dead meeting a grim ferryman named Charon on the bank of a river. It was said that he'd help the new arrival cross, only if they could pay him with a coin, an obol. That's why it was once our custom to bury our loved ones with a coin in their mouths. Charon's obol, we called it. Of course, an obol was a kind of Greek coin, because we inherited this knowledge from the Greeks.
Why didn't you all recognize Charon immediately?
To be fair, the ferryman isn't exactly as the poets described, and he, she, they seem to appear to different people in different guises. You say you saw a young woman named Karen with a hood, and I once heard Kabash mention a stranger in a ram headdress named Kerti, and Rufius described meeting a stranger named Kumut Tabal wearing an eagle headdress. But whatever form this stranger took, they were always wearing a hood of some sort, and their name always began with a K sound. I suspect the only way you'll solve this riddle is if your paths cross again.
Al met her, and then he died too. Alright. She's from our present day. Oh my god, she was saying endless commutes because if she really is Charon, then the whole ferrying the boat thing, oh my goodness. Why are there so few people in the underworld?
Good question. Let's see. In the stories, Charon would always require a coin as payment for passage across the river. But that never made any sense to me. What does an ancient immortal being need with coins? In our case, it seems Charon didn't take the coins we had. He or she merely checked we had one in our possession. So, maybe there's something special about the coins each of us had on us. That might explain why we wound up here, but so many others did not.
The armed man also had a coin. Were you trying to keep this from me?
No. I mean, I had my suspicions, especially after Livia's ramblings, but I would never have figured it out without your help, I promise you.
Can you tell me more about Livia? I don't think we talked about that yet. It's all the questions I had.
Now that we know where we are, we have to figure out what to do about it, if we don't want to be cast into gold for eternity. We don't have much to go on, except the old stories. I remember 4 in particular about heroes in the underworld. Hercules, the demigod and son of Jupiter. Orpheus, a Thracian poet. Sisyphus, a king of Ephyra. And Aeneas, a Trojan hero. Hercules was able to leave the underworld because he cowed its god with his strength. Sisyphus and Orpheus both relied on their wits instead. They persuaded the goddess of the underworld, Proserpina, to help them escape. And
Wait,
finally, Aeneas was able to escape with the help of a spirit guide, who led him through a secret gate. So it seems you have 2 options: to confront the god of the underworld head-on, or find a way to escape with the help of Proserpina or some other guide.
I wasn't really keeping track, but I thought Proserpina... I thought she was the goddess of agriculture or wealth or something. Maybe I remembered wrong. Can't we just escape the way we came in?
It's a reasonable question, but the problem is, this place is fairly well designed to keep us here. There's no way to climb up the shaft.
Right.
And even if you could build a ladder big enough, just trying it would break the golden rule. We know that, thanks to the writings left behind by those who've tried.
Yeah, when we first came down here, it was down a well almost. We can't climb that. I've noticed you seem uncomfortable calling the god of the underworld by his name. Why is that? Hades?
All Romans try to avoid saying it, and the reason is quite simple. He might hear us. You may refer to him as Pluto, if you wish, but you'll only be calling attention to yourself. Do so at your own peril.
Now, Hades is Greek. Tell me more about confronting Pluto head on.
Shh! Is everyone so blunt where you're from? That option would be the boldest, but also the only way to learn the truth about the Golden Rule, and maybe even put an end to it. As I said, Hercules managed to overpower the god of the underworld, but he was a demigod. Forgive my candor, but you are no Hercules.
I can train. I've got all the time in the world. Should we let her know? Will she believe me? Hercules couldn't manipulate time.
Are you telling me that you can? I won't pretend to understand exactly what that means, but if that's true, then perhaps you stand a chance. So, if you want to confront him, I'll help you as much as I can. Who knows? Perhaps your name will be uttered in the same sentence as Hercules one day. But first, you'd need an audience with you-know-who, and for that, you'll need to enter the great temple overlooking the city. The problem is, the door has been sealed shut for as long as I've lived here, and there doesn't even seem to be a keyhole. I suspect the answer lies in the desecrated obelisk in front of it. I'm not sure if you noticed, but there are 4 plaques missing from its base. It looks as though somebody, or a series of somebodies, forcibly removed them, and in doing so, dishonored and angered our divine keeper. If you could recover and replace all 4 of those missing plaques, I imagine he might be willing to receive an audience again.
I wish we had a map. I don't know about these places that they're telling me about yet. What can you tell me about the obelisk?
It's the towering stone monument with 4 sides and a pyramid-shaped head that stands before the great temple, a dedication to the god of this place. You'll find them all over Rome, but of course they were looted from Egypt many years ago. It seems one of them made its way here too, although how is a mystery. However, this one is unusual in that each of the 4 sides is decorated in a different style: Roman, Greek, Egyptian, and another I don't recognize. That means you'll need to recover 4 different plaques: Roman, Greek, Egyptian, and a 4th, a mystery plaque.
Okay. Where would I find the Roman plaque?
Good question. To answer that, we first need to ask who would have defaced the obelisk in the first place. It would have had the god's name engraved into it, so it may be that whoever desecrated it wanted that name to be forgotten. And there's only one group of people I know of who might want to do that.
Cultists.
There's a cult in Rome that often argued there is only one true god. Theirs, of course. They've been known to start fires, as well as deface religious monuments whose existence challenged their beliefs. If I were you, I'd go looking for them. Of course, they've all been in hiding since the fire last year, so finding them won't be easy. But I did hear a rumor they have a secret shrine somewhere in the city. Perhaps, if you could find that, you might be able to recover the Roman plaque.
Where would I find the Greek plaque?
I don't know. But perhaps you should begin your search with the local Greek fellow, Georgius. His store is in the forum.
Where would I find the Egyptian plaque?
Perhaps Kabash, our Egyptian resident, will be able to tell us. Unfortunately, he disappeared weeks ago.
What?
But I did hear Aurelia is peddling rumors about him at the tavern, so perhaps you could talk to her, or just take a look in his room.
Where would I find the mystery plaque?
I'm afraid you're on your own with that one, but perhaps finding the other 3 will illuminate the way.
Let's talk about something else. Tell me more about escaping with the help of Proserpina or a guide.
As I mentioned, both Orpheus and Sisyphus were said to have persuaded Proserpina to help them escape, and Aeneas was guided to the exit. The problem is, those are the stories of a poet, a self-aggrandizing king, and a brawler about their own heroic deeds, so they should be taken with a grain of salt. First, Proserpina. What we do know about her is, well, it's a grim tale. It's said the god of the Underworld abducted and dragged her here against her will, forcing her into marriage.
Oh my god. That's horrible.
It is. The gods are a mirror image of mankind, as far as cruelty is concerned, I'm afraid. If the stories are true, I imagine she's as desperate to escape as we are. If she really did help Orpheus and Sisyphus, perhaps she'll help us too. The problem is, how do we communicate with her without being noticed by her captor? Leaving that aside for a moment, there is also the possibility of a spirit guide. I don't suppose you've come across one of those in your travels?
I've heard people whispering. Oh, it's only the female statues. I didn't realize. That might be Proserpina then. I hear the female statues whispering to me every now and then.
Truly? And you're only bringing this up now? Then again, I suppose you were worried I'd think you were as mad as Navia. Can you tell me more? Is it the same voice? What kinds of thing does it say?
It helped me earlier. It's always the same voice, and she's helpful, if a little cryptic.
Fascinating. Perhaps she's a benevolent spirit. Or perhaps... Perhaps you're hearing the voice of Proserpina herself. If she has indeed been abducted, it would make sense for her to speak in cryptic whispers to avoid detection. Tell me, has she told you anything that might lead you to the way out?
Not yet.
Oh, I see. Well, let me know if you hear anything that might be a thread through this labyrinth.
Alright, I'm ready to get started.
Alright. I would suggest not discussing this with anyone. The best we can do for them is to let them remain oblivious for as long as possible. As for Livia, it seems she's been shouldering the weight of this terrible secret all this time. Perhaps it would comfort her to know she's not alone.
I'll have a chat with Livia first.
In any case, time is of the essence, so you'd best begin.
Is
May
it?
Fortuna guide you. Although you may not need her with Proserpina on your side.
I don't believe I found out what happened to Livia yet. We might have... we were talking about so much. Hold on.
Ave again. Did you find what you need?
What do you think about the Golden Rule?
I'm quite sure it's the work of the gods, which is strange because they've never been particularly concerned with our misdeeds, as long as we've kept the peace of the gods. We ask for blessings, for good health, bountiful harvest, military victory, and in return, we offer praise, wine, incense, or animals. But here, it seems they require much more of us. I find myself reminded of an especially pertinent tale from our great poet Ovid in his epic Metamorphoses. Would you like to hear it? It is rather long.
The fact that people are getting turned into golden statues, that's a very magical and mystical thing, which does lend to the theory that this is all the doing of a god. But then why is our god turning an eye to all the other minor sins? Why not? I have time.
Wonderful. It goes like this. Baucis and Philemon were an old married couple living a humble life in a small town. One night, the town gets a visit from a couple of vagrants. They go from door to door, asking for a place to stay the night. Of course, being vagrants, they're turned away sharply from house after house, 1,000 in all, until finally they come to the little cottage where Baucis and Philemon lived. Now, the kind old couple had very little to offer, but nevertheless, they invite these strangers into their house and offer them food, wine, and a place to stay. Immediately, the guests make themselves at home. They begin gulping down the old couple's wine, so much so that Baucis, the old lady, begins to worry they're going to run out. And then she notices something strange. Her wine pitcher keeps refilling itself, as if by magic. Realizing only a select few possess such powers, says to her husband, Philemon, "I think these men are gods in disguise." Immediately, the couple begins apologizing for offering such coarse wine, and the vagrants metamorphosize and reveal themselves to be Jupiter, the king of the gods, and Mercury, the trickster god. They confide they didn't mind the meager offerings. They were just pleased that someone in the town offered them hospitality. Then Jupiter says to them, "You have passed our test, but everyone else in this city failed, so we are going to destroy this place and everyone in it, except you, who we will grant a wish." So old Baucis and Philemon escape up into the mountains safely, and they receive their wish, which is for eternity together. Meanwhile, Jupiter carries through with his threat and wipes that city off the map. Some say the moral of that story is that we must all honor the sacred rituals of guest friendship, the reciprocal obligations owed between hosts and guests. But I like to think it's that we should always show compassion for those less fortunate than ourselves.
I think she'll be upset by it, but maybe this will give her some food for thought as well, because this is sort of what I was thinking about too. Or perhaps it's that the gods might kill you at any moment for failing their test, and they don't even have to tell you what the rules are.
A cynic philosopher might take that view, but it's not entirely invalid, I suppose.
Hey, do you know a way out of here?
I don't, I'm afraid. It seems to me we're exiled here until the gods judge us, one way or another.
What's the status of the election?
It must be completed by dusk, just the same as any other official business. It'll be between Sentius, the incumbent, and Malleolus, the challenger. Why do you ask?
I'm guessing that's our deadline then. Probably the golden rule is gonna get broken maybe right before the election or at the election or somewhere around that time. We do have a bow today, but I'm not sure what we can do with that. Who's allowed to vote?
All of the male citizens who are willing and able to attend.
Male?
Unless they're running, of course.
Am I male? I don't know. Am I male? The woman can't vote?
That's just the way it's always been, I'm afraid. It never sat right with me, either. There are some women who can vote, Vestal priestesses like myself, but in this case, given my role overseeing the election, I've decided to abstain. I can't allow the perception that I'm being anything but fair and independent, but if it's any consolation, there are other ways to influence the outcome of an election.
Such as?
By using whatever gifts the gods gave you. Nothing untoward, of course.
What's your role in the election?
I'm responsible for announcing it and making sure the procedures are followed.
Can I nominate another candidate?
You can, assuming they're eligible and willing to accept the nomination.
Yeah, so I'm assuming this is gonna start the golden rule stuff, which I don't want to happen yet. Let's talk about something else.
Certainly.
I'll be going now.
See you again soon, I hope.
Get the sense that this is an important lady then. She knows a lot about what's happening here. She's a priestess? Okay. Thank you, Proserpina. Although I'm still a little bit skeptical of what this is really all about. An ancient Roman mosaic depicting a godlike figure turning a man into gold. We're an archaeologist. This should be right up our alley. Although I myself, I don't know anything about archaeology. Okay, well, thank you, Equidia, for your time. We can go talk to Livia or the person who was... You know what? First of all, something special about the coin that we're holding. Potentially. But this is not a modern coin. So how did I get this coin? It's a denarius. How do I use the bow? Maybe I can't. Do I want to give it to Theseus though? We also have to find out what happened to Scintilla. A lot more people here are missing than I thought. Scintilla might have escaped. Ask the residents of the villa for clues about Scintilla's disappearance. Cistern. Roman plaque. Let's go around and just meet people first. It seems Livia has been behaving strangely after she made an unknown discovery some weeks ago. Okay. I think, Lucretia also said something about this maybe? Or was that Navia? I don't know. There's a lot going on here. And actually, I'm pretty sure we had a list of the citizen... Oh, here it is. Aurelia. Claims no way out. Claudia, Decius. Right. So this is a quick way for us to figure out what's going on here. Fabia, the baker. Okay, we'll just walk around and if we find anything particularly interesting, we'll follow it. But I'm happy just to learn the layout of the land first. Dooley? So people here definitely are from other places then. We have a Egyptian resident somewhere.
Hello? Hello?
You're Greek. What's your story?
My name's Dooley. I live here now because I got in trouble and they said they had to lock me up.
What did you do?
I don't know. I don't remember things so good. I think it's just because I was looking for treasure.
Did someone think you were going to steal?
Yes, but I wasn't. I was just looking.
Is that all?
They said I did it more than once, but I can't remember things so good. Then they called me mean names. They called me a liar, Billy.
A liability?
Yes. They said I have to live here now, and gave me this letter. But I'm not good with words. Do you think you could read it for me?
Sure. Yeah, his note sounded like he wasn't that great with writing. We live in a place where if someone breaks a rule, everyone will die. So even if you think about breaking a rule, someone's gonna use that as a reason to lock you up. Sentius to Dooley. Magistrate Sentius to Dullius. I am writing to you in relation to your incorrigible antisocial behavior arising from your obsession with an alleged lost treasure. While I am sympathetic to your plight in the passing of your guardian Hannibal some weeks ago. Oh, Hannibal died? I wish to impress upon you an important message. The treasure you seek does not exist. Given your memory limitations, it seems likely you simply misremembered. More importantly, since you have on several occasions been caught trespassing, including around the cisterns which are strictly off limits to all citizens, I have reluctantly come to the conclusion that you are a liability to this community and must have your freedom limited, lest you break the golden rule. It is my hope that this letter will assist you to remember why you are incarcerated, should you experience further lapses in memory. Well, that's not very nice of you. You know he can't read. You don't want to help him.
What does it say?
It says they caught you trespassing several times and they locked you up to stop you from breaking the golden rule.
My treasure.
What treasure?
My friend Hannibal used to look after me. And he said he always would. But then, he died. It was very sad. He said if anything ever happened to him, I had to find something very precious hidden away. He gave me this key and made me promise to keep it safe until I found the treasure. But I couldn't find it. All I remember is he said something about the cisterns, but when I went up to the high one, they put me in here. Now nobody looks after me, except my friend Galerius and Ek, the priestess lady. She's a nice lady.
Galerius was the very first guy we met, I think? If you give me the key, I can try to find out what unlocks.
Hannibal said I shouldn't give it to anyone I didn't trust. But maybe you could help me get out of here. Then I would trust you a lot.
Let me talk to the magistrate about getting you out of here.
Galerius already tried that. He said the magistrate wouldn't listen, no matter what.
Then maybe it's time we had a new magistrate. Or maybe we'll just break you out. That probably feels like it might be a golden rule violation.
Like Galerius?
What?
He's nice. I like Galerius. He made me a doll and everything. If you help make him magistrate, he can get me out of here, and I can give you the key to my treasure.
Oh.
Hannibal said it was in the cisterns. I can't remember what it was, just that it was way up high and very precious.
Maybe it has to do with the plaques. I'll see what I can do. Do you know a way out of here?
You're going to let me out of here?
Yeah.
Really?
Well, that's not what I said. I asked if you know a way out of here. The cisterns.
Oh. Please. I hate it here. It makes me very sad.
Oh, this poor man. Never mind. What do you think about the golden rule?
Gold? You mean treasure?
Never mind. Oh, let's talk about your treasure.
My friend Hannibal used to look after me.
Oh.
And he said he always would. He said he gave me the... All I remember is now but...
Fair enough. Okay, I'll be going now.
Bye-bye.
Oh, this is so sad, this poor man. And no one's looking after him anymore.
Hello. Have we met before?
Oh, his memory is not that great either. I'll be going now.
Bye-bye.
I'll be back, don't you worry. You haven't actually done anything yet, that's the messed up part, and they're already locking you up, just in case. That's messed up. I think it's getting dark for real now. Dusk. Fabia! I want to talk to Fabia. The priestess? Fabia! Thank you for your bread. Thank you.
You took care of him?
He had a tragic accident in that shrine.
An accident? So, it's over? Oh God, it's such a relief. I really thought we were all going to die. I do have a question though. That shrine, the one I was going to hide in, did you know it was going to collapse?
Yeah, this is a very tricky situation if someone comes in with a weapon. If he kills us, that's breaking the rule. If I kill him in self-defense, that's still breaking the rule, so I can see why you were scared. If I said yes, I'd be admitting to murder.
I don't understand. Oh, I see. I should probably keep my big mouth shut then. Sorry. I promise, nobody else will ever know what you did. But I know. That was really clever. Thank you. I'm glad you're here. Oh, speaking of which, welcome. I'm Fabia. Sorry I was a bit frantic before. Need anything?
What's your story?
Oh, there's not much to tell. I mostly just bake bread and try to help out where I can.
How did you end up here?
I suppose it all started about 8 months ago. I was living in Rome with my family when I got sick. Terrible timing. My pa had just arranged a husband for me, a fisherman's son. I was about to meet him for the first time when I came down with an awful fever. I spent the next week in bed. Pa paid priests to make offerings to Asclepius, a white rooster, then a goat. But nothing worked. In the end, they decided I'd do better outside the city. Clean air in the countryside would do me good, they said. But after about a day in a carriage on the Appian Way, I was getting worse, not better. I remember closing my eyes for a bit, and I guess I must have fell asleep because when I opened them again, I was in a forest by a river. I suppose the driver took off with his fee and left me for dead. Can't say I blame him. I wouldn't have wanted to catch what I had either. Anyway, I went searching for help, stumbled across the trapdoor temple, and here I am.
Oh, it's really obvious now that we know that people here are probably dead. Because this lady probably died while she was on the carriage. I'm sorry to hear that.
It's nice of you to say, but you should save your sympathy. Lots of people here need it more than I do.
I can tell you're very kind. Thank you for your free bread. Do you know a way out of here?
What? You've been here a few moments and you're desperate to get out already? Why not give the place a chance before you try to leave?
Because I don't want to die.
People here. Galerius works hard on the farm so I can put food on our tables, and Lucretia tries to keep us healthy. My friend Georgius is always mending our clothes, and Virgil makes sure these old walls don't fall down around us. Well, he does his best. I'm just saying, there are worse places you could live out your days.
It's the rule. The rule is the worst part. I don't belong here.
Well, I can tell from your funny accent you're not from around here, but that doesn't mean you don't belong, does it?
Oh, she's very positive. I like her. Thank you. Yeah, the people that we've been getting to know in the past bit have all been in the shop owners here, but they're all the poor people. What do you think about the golden rule?
Oh, I try not to worry about it. I mean, if people are nice to each other, we won't have anything to worry about, will we?
Fabia, an armed man just tried to get into the city to kill us. I like your optimism.
Thanks. And I like your teeth. They're so white. And your clothes. Oh, I bet my friend Georgius would like to get a look at you. And I'm sure he'd love to chatter about the golden rule with you too. He'll be just across the forum in his shop.
Yeah, we talked. So, do you have any idea who's threatening Virgil?
Terrible shame, that is. Maybe this'll help. Late last night, I was cleaning my oven when I heard some noises outside. The forum's usually dead quiet at that hour, so I came out to see what was going on. To be honest, I thought maybe poor old Dooley had got out of his cell and was snooping around again. So I put my head out and saw someone in front of Virgil's shop. I couldn't tell who. It was too dark. I called out to them, but they just turned and ran off without a word. All I remember is they ran past a lit torch and the light glinted off something metallic. Armour, I think. So I suppose it could only be one of 3 people. Horatius, Domitius or Rufius. I hope that helps.
That's great help. Thanks, that does help. I'll be going now.
All right. Thanks again for taking care of our problem. I won't forget it.
You're very welcome.